call the meeting to order. I'm going to ask Vice Mayor Bibb to lead us in prayer. I'll ask everyone to stand and remain standing for the pledge, please.
Let's pray. Lord, we thank you for another opportunity to come together and take care of the business of the city. We pray for wisdom and guidance as we do this. Thank you for each one that's here tonight. And thank you, dear Lord, for watching over White House and taking care of us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mayor Arnold?
Here.
Alderman Bibb?
Here.
Alderman Decker?
Here.
Alderman Hudson?
Here.
Alderman Corbett?
Here.
Need to adopt the agenda. Need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. Hopefully there's no additions. Maybe some deletions. All in favor? Aye. We need to approve the minutes of the July 13th special session and the July 16th Board of Mayor and Alderman meeting. I need a motion.
Move to approve.
Motion, we have a second.
Second.
Any corrections? All in favor? Aye. I'd like to welcome our visitors. I don't know, how many people are in the auditorium? Anybody know? Okay, well, welcome, guys. We got a full house in here, or as full as we're allowed to be. We've got some public hearings.
Mandy went to go grab the sheet.
Okay. Okay. I love your hair, Elizabeth.
Oh, she went pink this time. Or red.
City trying to hold you down.
I can't see her. She's hiding it.
Matches your match.
It does?
Mm-hmm. Tips.
Hmm.
Nobody signed up.
Wait a minute. Are you sure you picked up the right sheet? Okay.
You go to the right room.
Yeah. Did you get this out of the copy machine?
No. It's on the table.
Okay. Resolution 2018 is a resolution to annex certain territories and incorporate the same within the corporate boundaries of the city of White House, Tennessee. Second reading. I'm going to open that public hearing, and I have no one slated to speak, so we will close it. Ordinance 2014, an ordinance amending the Municipal Code Title 18, Chapter 4, Stormwater Management, Section 18-407, second reading. I will open that public hearing, and I have no one to speak, so we will close it. Ordinance 2015, an ordinance amending the zoning map from Robertson County Rural Residential to SRPUD, Suburban Residential Plan Unit Development on Pinson Lane, second reading. I'll open the hearing. I have no one to speak. We will close it. Communication. City Attorney.
I don't have anything.
That's always a good thing. Vice Mayor Bibb.
Oh,
Alderman Hudson.
I'm good, Mayor.
Alderman Corbett.
I'm good as well.
Alderman Decker.
I'm good.
I know.
Just a couple of things.
I know how you are.
Yeah, just a couple of things.
Well, before you start, I want to offer my condolences to Cliff and his family for his loss this week.
Thank you.
He was a good man. I knew him. He was a good man.
Who was it?
Bart Limpicky. So, all right, Jerry.
Just briefly, the visitor center exterior renovation is going really well. We have been getting calls, I guess, at the chamber office about why we decided to go from white to yellow. But just bear with us because they're about 3/4 of the way done with the that cement board. The back storage room exterior and roof is complete. I know they were working on the loading ramp today, so I'm happy about that. So what do you think? Maybe another 4 or so weeks, I think it'll be completed. Our staff has done really well on the widening project at Pleasant Grove Road, and we're just waiting some curbing to put in and asphalt, and then we'll finish up that project. Love's Lane extension with the utilities design that Jason did for us. He's completed that for us, and now the contractor, the developer, owner of that property, Mr. Harper, is going to start because the road has been staked, and so he's going to start getting utilities put in place and getting the road ready for us. So hopefully we'll see some progress in that. But that's all I have, Mayor.
Very good.
The library people been asking me why it's yellow. That's what back in the olden days,
Yeah.
it was so dusty that it looked yellow.
Oh,
You do know they make that sign in white.
I know, yeah, they asked me if they could do yellow. I said,
You can get white siding that you don't have to paint. We need to acknowledge reports.
Move to be acknowledged and filed.
Second.
Second.
Anybody want to discuss them? There's a lot of them, and there's a lot of good information in them.
Yes, sir.
All in favor? Aye. Consideration of following resolutions. Resolution 2019, whereas TCA 6-51-102 requires that a plan of service be adopted by the governing body of the city prior to passage of a resolution annexing any area. I need a motion.
I move that we approve.
Have a second.
Second.
see, I'm looking for it.
See, just,
This is a Joe property on, Cross Plains and Pension Road, 350 units. It would be the SRPD, plan development.
Yeah, page 57 in your booklets, if you're looking for that, that's show you what the property is.
this is pretty much just a formality right here.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, Seegis. Anybody have any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Resolution 2018, a resolution to annex certain territories and incorporate same within the corporate boundaries of the city of White House, Tennessee. It's second reading. I need a motion.
We approve.
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion?
Since the schools got back with us on the vacation gonna have on schools over there in those 350 houses.
They have not. I mean, Dr. Crosby's obviously aware of it. He's waiting. He's kind of like, watching it, see how quickly it's going to build out and that type of thing. But he's well aware of it. He's a very responsible person. So I would anticipate that, he'll look at it and decide, what's the best course of action for him and the school board to make. There's options, I'm sure, for him, between redistricting and other things that I'm sure he'll consider at the time when it's needed, but he has not voiced any concerns and that we need to stop this development.
I actually got this really handy chart for Sumner County, and I'd like to try to get one for Robertson if they got it. It shows every school in the county, it shows the capacity and then the current enrollment. So you can see how close they are to the breaking point. So
That's really good.
You can see that for that school over there, but, the only, my knowledge, the only way most counties can pay for new schools is, they gotta, raise taxes. So
I appreciate everybody that follows that. We notify
yeah, no, I get it.
school directors, board members of new developments coming to the city. We're not in charge of schools. We don't have anything to do with schools. But nobody wants a new development except the counties. They want the new developments because they want the tax money. And that's how they build schools, is with tax money. And I get calls and emails and letters from citizens that live outside the city limits telling me that we're overcrowding the schools. We, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, are the second largest tax contributor to Robertson County.
I would say yes, we would be.
They get a lot of money from us. Has anybody here seen Robertson County and our planning area, our urban growth boundary, putting in a road, putting in a water line, putting in sewer, putting in any infrastructure that would benefit the city of White House or economic development for the city of White House? I dare say you haven't. The only thing we gather from all our tax dollars are those 3 schools. If they would sell me those 3 schools and allow me to move the county line to I-65, I would buy them. Because I could pay for them with the commercial taxes that they're getting from the city of White House's property. So I sympathize with people that talk about overcrowding in schools, but we make these people aware all the time. They're aware. They've got a job to do just like we've got a job to do. And we're paying our taxes. And there are people outside this city that don't pay any city taxes, but they sure enjoy the benefits of this city. And I get calls, letters, emails from these people. And I would assume the proper channel to go through. Mike Wall, you called me last week with a problem, and I told you I couldn't do that. That wasn't my job. The proper channel was for me to let Jerry handle that. There are channels to go through. I have never, ever, in 16 years sitting up here, I have never had a call from a county commissioner or a school board member telling me, you're overcrowding the schools, ever. So obviously these people that don't live in the city are not contacting the people they need to be contacting, who's their county commissioners and their school board members. I don't have anything to do with that. We're paying our way. We're paying our fair share. So call the people in the chain of command to get things done. And when they start calling me, then we'll start listening. But we call them and tell them what's coming.
I'll add a little bit to that, like, for years, and I don't know how it is this year, over 80% of all tax revenues from Sumner County went to school. Over 80% of all tax revenues. And, you know, they get all our sales tax goes to the counties too, all that we collect here. And so I don't know how much that is, but that's a lot of money.
Roll call.
Alderman Bez.
Aye.
Alderman Corbett.
No.
Alderman Decker.
Aye.
Alderman Hudson. Mayor Arnold.
Aye. Resolution 2020, a resolution authorizing the issuance of not to exceed $2,900,000 in aggregate principal amount of federally taxable general obligation refunding bonds of the city of White House, Tennessee, making provision for the issuance, sale, and payment of said bonds, establishing the terms thereof and the disposition of proceeds therefrom, and providing for the levy of taxes for the payment of principal of premium, if any, and interest on the bonds. I need a motion.
Move to approve.
Have a second.
Second.
This better pass because I just signed my name about 100 times.
Well, actually, that was for something else. This is in reference to the library. You know, we have about a 4% loan on that we have 23 years left on the payoff on that. And Raymond James, Richard Delaney, who's been our advisor and helped us with the library loan, it brought to our attention that there was some savings that we could get if we went back out to the market and see if we can get a lower interest rate. He's hoping to be around 2%. He's hoping that could save us roughly around $15,000 a year in interest over the next 23 years as we continue to pay off that loan. So that builds up. Jason's been working on it. Is he here?
He's here. I saw him.
Yeah, just bring him in case you have any questions on the technical side of things. But him and I did have a discussion yesterday morning with S&P because, you know, they have to revisit our bond rating. I told them we're AA+, which they knew, and I said we really want to keep that. We talked about some additional debt that we've recently taken on with buying the parkland that we did from Tom Byram and the water line, and they understood that very well, but they were really pleased with our growth. That COVID-19 hasn't impacted us negatively, that we've done well there. And so I'm hoping that by maybe the middle of next week, I'll get our bond rating. Jason, I'm talking about the bond rating, our discussion with the S&P. Do you remember when they told us they would, let us know about our bond rating if it's changed or anything?
I believe they said, next Wednesday.
Next
We have
Wednesday.
Elizabeth and I believe Rick on the Zoom call.
Oh, do we? Okay.
They're a lot more knowledgeable than I am with this.
I guess, Rick, are you there? Maybe you want to brief the board here what we're trying to do?
Good evening, it's Rick Delaney with Raymond James in Nashville. Sorry we can't be with you tonight. My partner Elizabeth Zelke has joined me. I think Jerry gave a great review of what we're all about here tonight. Had a good call the other day with Standard & Poor's, and we're expecting that rating on Wednesday. And hopefully if everything proceeds according to schedule, we hope to sell these bonds at competitive public sale on August 31st, which is a week from Monday. And again, the markets have been very, very good at historically low levels, levels that none of us that are alive today have ever seen. So it's a great opportunity to save some money, and always to the extent that we cannot achieve our goals here, we always have the right to reject any bid that's submitted at competitive public sale. But again, we think that this is a great opportunity to save some money.
Yeah, now Rick, I have to tell you though, the mayor of the county, Sumner County, was boasting today about how they just went out to the market and got a 1.5%, and I told him we could probably beat that. So you're going to really work hard for that, right?
Absolutely. That's pretty stellar.
So we know you're going to give it your best shot for us, so we appreciate it.
Yes, sir. We are honored to work with you. I'll look forward to this.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rick. All right. Any other discussion?
Total savings on that loan, what, 300,000? It's like 23 years more?
23 years, was it?
Be more than that.
Over 200, wasn't it?
I think it's around 230,000. I don't have the amortization schedule in front of me, but it was about $15,000 in year savings.
This is Elizabeth Rick's associate. I can tell you, right here, I have it pulled up. Your gross savings are $336,000 on the estimate, and then PV'd back, it's 273 or so in total aggregate savings. So over $250,000 over the life of it.
Any negotiation on those fees?
So what it amounts to,
Yeah, when I ask that question, people always get silent.
what it amounts to is they make 90 and we save 270.
Yeah, that's the way it works. But
Well, it gets spread out. There's several parties that get a little bit of that money, so.
A lot of hands. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Consideration of the following ordinances. Ordinance 2014 is ordinance amending the municipal code, Title 18, Chapter 4, Stormwater Management, Section 18-407. This is second reading. I need a motion.
motion approved.
Have a second.
Second.
Andy, you want to talk about this?
You guys got any questions for starters? This is basically just, you guys good? Alright.
Just don't build your fence in stormwater.
That's pretty much it, and over our wastewater facilities.
Believe it or not, this is help to educate the public as well. Because if they might put the fence up going through any type of, utility like sewer main or water main, it costs a lot more at the back end to get it fixed than what we just pay $25 permit.
What we have, who sets the amount of the penalty? Up here on 76, when they dug into the sewer line, the fees that we charge them, the penalty, is that in our ordinance?
Yes.
Yes.
And then what does,
You talking about the one that they hit over there by, which one exactly you're talking about?
quick care, fast care, clinic, whatever?
Yes.
We
So
get that?
they didn't call 811.
I know, but how, are they gonna hit them also with the penalty, a fine?
We did.
Okay, we did, and,
It's already been paid.
okay,
So,
okay. But so who sets the amount of the fine?
well, it depends because every job's different, but we had all the labor, the equipment, the cost of fuel, and then we add that up and then we submit the bill to them, how much it costs the city White House to fix that or do that repair.
Is that the only fee that they're charged, or
Yes,
is one
sir.
call also
Yes, sir.
charging?
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah, they usually require the utility that, I mean,
But if I'm just doing it and they're just charging me labor and time, it's really not much of a, somebody had to fix it.
right.
Yeah, we may look at that.
It's a break even, it's not.
Yeah, we don't wanna break even. We wanna
I'm not sure we can.
teach a lesson.
You think?
It's real easy to dial
Fine on
811.
top of the repairs?
I'll be the first to tell you, they'll come out and mark it, and it won't be where they mark it, but you still gotta call
I think we'd have to have a legal review to see if we're even allowed to assess any other additional penalties,
But
other than cost to fix it.
If it was marked and they dug it up, we would charge them the same thing to repair it as we did, and then not make a call.
them. So why don't you even call him, I just start digging.
That's what I'm saying.
That's right, yeah. Okay, yeah. We'll have to check on that.
Thank you, Andy. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Alderman Zeb,
Aye.
Alderman Corbett,
Aye.
Alderman Decker,
Aye.
Alderman Hudson,
Aye.
Mayor Arnold.
Aye. Ordinance 2015 is an ordinance amending the zoning map from Robertson County Rural Residential to SRPUD Suburban Residential Plan Unit Development on Pinson Lane. Second reading. I need a motion.
Move to approve.
Have a second.
Second.
Any discussion?
I think we hammered this pretty heavy at the last meeting. The developer did comply with our request, to make sure that they follow all of our SRPUD stipulations, and I'll let C just take it from there.
Yeah, they're adhering to our, 10% setbacks on our side that we required in the SRPD. They got a pretty nice plan with the amenities, in the development. We talked at length about that, and overall, it meets everything that we require in SRPD.
Thank you, Regis. Any other discussion?
I mean, I think the development is nice, my issues with the timing, and as I said, you know, the last meeting, I think it's already a problem out there with traffic, and to just add more on top of it, when we know it's gonna be years before it's fixed,
So because the county and the state won't fix their roads, I'm to penalize somebody that wants to come in and pay taxes and wants to live in White House.
understood, but still, that's a big problem.
All right, roll call.
Alderman Zeb,
Aye.
Alderman Corbett,
No.
Alderman Decker,
Aye.
Alderman Hudson, Mayor Arnold.
Aye. Ordinance 2016, an ordinance to amend the zoning map from C1 Central Business District to NCPUD Neighborhood Center Residential Plan Unit Development on Highway 31W. First reading. I need a motion.
So
Wait. I have, it's actually supposed to be Raymond Hurst.
Yeah, it's not on 31,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
this is wrong, guys.
Okay.
So then, now you can motion to approve.
Okay, now I need a motion for this development on Raymond Hirsch.
Motion.
Have a second.
Second.
Discussion. Regis.
The developer came to us, in planning commission a few months back. They wanted to rezone both of their properties, one on 31W, one on Raymond Hurst. The planning commission said that, we'll never get our commercial back if we rezone this to to the NCRPUD. They proposed on one parcel, some garages and some townhomes, and then on another, some townhomes. Well, they rescinded their, application at the time, and, it came back to me and Jerry, and they had on, the Raymond Hurst, on the 31W side, they have some commercial, they have an 8,000 square foot strip center that they're gonna put, and they already have some tenants, for a restaurant, a sandwich shop, national chain, I can say it was a, Penn Station, that they think they'll eat to come on the, 31W side. They're gonna link the sidewalks to connect to the greenway on 31W in front of the apartments. And then on the Raymond Hurst side, which we're rezoning here, they're gonna have 22 units. They'll, connect the sidewalk to, Volunteer State Bank, and they said that if they entertain, talking to Volunteer State Bank to connect the sidewalk all the way to, Raymond Hurst, where we also talked about, some crosswalk improvements, but,
That's,
Yeah, I'm trying to tie that into a grant, but that's
Yeah.
something else.
Keep hammering people on this connectivity, so you just.
hey, I'm all about it. I'm all about it.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Ordinance 2017, an ordinance to amend the zoning map from R20 low-density residential to SRPUD suburban residential plan unit development and NCRPUD neighborhood center residential plan unit development on Tyree Springs Road. First reading, I need a motion.
I move we approve.
Need a second.
Second.
This
Discussion.
is the, Goodall project, developer that we discussed, in the study session that we had, this morning. We had some lengthy, discussion about, adding these homes on, Tyree Springs. We've been talking to the developer, about, making sure that they adhere to what we have in our plan. This will be a 400 plus home development on both sides of Tyree Springs. On the, east side of Tyree, there'll be 75-foot lot widths. Adhering to, we don't have a minimum, but, these are the widths that they have on the plan. And then on the east side of Tyree, it'll be a mix of NCRPUD and SRPUD. There'll be some, cottage style homes. Again, they're adhering to our plan. So the beauty in this, to me, is the connectivity to Cedarbrook. And then the discussion with making the off-site improvements, to, the citizens, they came and they did go through the process of, talking to Jerry, myself, and voicing their concerns with the, traffic. And, I think we came out of these discussions with, some improvements that without this project, even though it's gonna be 400 homes, and I'm not selling it, on behalf of the developer, but on behalf of the city, without these improvements, the city, it will probably be 20, 30 years before the city would see a connection to Cedarbrook or see Greenway connectivity. So, I'm hammering connectivity.
All of it alleviates traffic and makes it more efficient. It's a good job.
Any other discussion?
But should we, be approving this before we, are able to get everything worked out in the discussions we had before this meeting?
Yeah, I think you could either,
I don't think it's in the final approval or anything. We're gonna get all that. In fact, I did talk to Michael Dewey in the hallway. He got in touch with the traffic study person, Jillian. That connectivity had not been made at that traffic study.
We had not.
So we will get some new figures back on that.
And we still have the final master to come before planning commission.
Yeah.
So I think in planning commission, we can hammer.
and we have a second reading of this ordinance,
Yeah.
which I hope to present with the resolution either at that time or the following month. Once I know what you've established, I want to do a resolution to maybe to waive those fees.
Mhm.
So, but.
From the city's perspective, this is
So what we talked about today is basically a minimum.
Right,
And anything, after that, if anything shows up in the traffic study, we're gonna require that also.
right. Yep. Any other discussion? All in favor? Opposed?
No.
Abstain? Ordinance 2018, an ordinance to amend the zoning map from C2 General Commercial to C1R, Central Service District Gateway Infill Commercial Infill on Byram Drive. First reading. I need a motion.
So move that we approve.
Second.
Motion and second. Discussion.
See, this will be yours. It
See,
says the
just-
annexation of the two properties.
No,
We're
no,
still
this
with,
is,
No, this is
Oh,
behind Kroger.
sorry.
behind Kroger.
Got it, okay.
This is, behind Kroger.
I got it myself.
Byram Drive, right near the park. Developer, wanted to go from C2 to put some multifamily back there, mostly condos and townhome type homes. So they didn't have site plan, they weren't required to submit a site plan because it's a straight zone, request. However, in planning commission, one of the stipulations is the buffer between, Lone Oak and on the back side of the park, and, I think we said a 50-foot buffer strip that they said that they would adhere to.
But leaving existing
For the existing trees.
tree line.
Yeah, that's one
Leave
of
it a
the,
minimum of 50 feet.
it's one of the stipulations that we, requested. I think that, I can't really speak to the
like I said, I hadn't seen the number of, towns, 26 acres, I think about, back there. But the beauty in this one also, connectivity, again, they're connecting, Byram to cut through the Indian Ridge again. Without that development, I don't think that road would be cut through, another 10, 15, 20 years. I don't think the city would have, made that, connection. So with this development, again, this is a improvement for the city with the development we have on Callista. You know, that cut through will, improve, you know, traffic. So I think we're addressing some concerns.
And we'll get new tennis courts.
New tennis courts.
Are you saying they didn't give us a drawing that we could tie to the deed?
They did a deed restriction that is,
Deed restriction, we got everything we asked for?
yeah. If they don't, if this deal falls through, then this site would revert back to its current zone.
Okay, so what he had on the drawings that night is in deed restriction, so he has to build exactly what he showed.
No,
that was-
no, that was just a.
That was just a preliminary site plan.
Yeah, that really was even more, it really wasn't even that, it was more of a
Without that
a
drawing,
concept,
we
yeah.
just give him,
No, we're putting in a deed restriction.
Yeah, and he's gonna have to, I mean, when he goes to design it, they're gonna have to bring that to the planning commission.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
site
it
plan.
comes to site plan approval, so you still have to
Yeah,
approve it.
We haven't-
This is the zoning request, so you haven't approved this site yet.
So
okay.
we approve the zoning, assuming we do, and then do we get a crack at the site plan, or is it just?
No, go back to
Planning
planning commission.
level.
We will.
It'd be nice to have a site plan.
What's not required in zoning,
Yeah, but I mean,
yeah, and they were, what he just said was something that they possibly could do, it didn't even have the road lined up right and everything, it was really just a rough sketch. Yeah.
you say it's a mix of condos and townhomes and some apartments, you know, and if it's 20% apartments, maybe that's great, but if it's 80% apartments, maybe it's not so great.
That's what we're discussing at
Yeah.
planning commission. See what comes in. He's got a density, he gets
13 units per
13
acre.
Wow. But what we didn't want to do is give him a zoning
Right.
that he could have done anything in the world he wanted to inside that
So
zone.
what is this limited to?
He can't do that with this zoning deed restriction, can he, Val?
Correct.
So
And purpose also is if he, you know, this falls through,
Yeah. Hey, right here, I can tell you what's going on with it.
as a developer.
Yes, sir, yeah.
I was trying to keep you out of it, Lynn.
It's okay. Should I come over there?
By the mic, if you could, please. Just state your name for the record.
Sure, I'm Lynn Ely with Land Solutions. I ran down the hall because I wanted to make a point of clarification. The deed restrictions that we worked on so hard and did that, just, I feel like in some ways I put the cart before the horse in doing that, but it made everybody, it seemed to satisfy a lot of people, and it pushed us to get this thing figured out. The deed restrictions do reference that plan, that concept.
Okay.
So that was the idea, was that we took this thing as far as to draw a plan on it and then voluntarily deed restrict it to say it has to, the language says something to the effect of substantially conform
To that
to
drawing
that
you gave
plan.
us. Okay.
And then there's written language in it that has maximums on density and talks about the connection that has to be required. It goes on and on and on, but it does reference.
Okay, if you've got that in there, how much authority does CJS have for changes?
We added specifically that the city can enforce it in the declaration.
Well, that's not my point. My point is, if, as Jerry said, the road didn't line up exactly right, is every little issue like that gonna come back to this body, or does CJS have the authority to make that call?
Well, the planning commission will look at the site plan when it gets developed, and then they'll look at it.
Minor changes at staff level, we have stipulations where it be at, staff, planning commission, and I don't think it will have to come back to this body.
So they'll decide whether it's substantially.
Yeah, and they're looking at it very hard, so.
Yes.
It would have been nice for me to have the deed restriction language and the plan as well before the meeting tonight.
Valerie has you have the language?
I do have it on my phone.
I just saw preliminary when they first started on it.
if they're held to that, it would've been nice to have that. You know.
They weren't, that's the thing, they're asking for straight line zoning, which doesn't require like an NCR PUD or SR PUD. Okay, we don't present a preliminary site plan, so it's kind of like in a commercial zone, so they're gonna present us a site plan.
And the city can't, I
And then
couldn't,
construction.
the city can't
I understand that, but you're telling me that the deed restriction holds them to that drawing, right, or something substantially similar. It would've been nice to have that to look at.
It says there shall be no more than 240 apartment units, 98 townhomes, and 98 townhomes on the property.
And it speaks to connections and tennis courts and how it's maintained.
Yeah, of course, they have to meet the architectural standards, it'll have sidewalks, underground utilities, sufficient street lighting, appropriate areas for guest parking, that was something that the planning commission was worried about. And they're gonna construct 3 new tennis courts on the city's property. And they're gonna construct a new public roadway within the property to the city's property to provide connection from Byram to Stadium Drive.
I know we got 2 rounds of this. I'm happy to give everybody a plan before
It would be helpful for the second reading.
second reading. If I need to print them or whatever I need to do, I'll give them a packet.
That work, John?
Yeah. No,
If you got it?
I don't.
Okay. Yeah, get that and get it to us. And then when Sages, if you get it, or Jerry, if you get it to Alderman Corbett.
Okay, yeah, we can get to this. Okay.
Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, Sages. Any other discussion? I know Valerie did a whole lot of work on this. I appreciate that, Val.
Welcome.
Plowing new ground, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was something new.
Mhm.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Ordinance 2019, an ordinance to de-annex. Where is she? Are we de-annexing Aaron's property?
Yeah.
Where is she? I don't
She's
know.
here. I just accused her of being her sister.
Yeah, well, you can't tell the difference.
Uh-oh.
An ordinance to de-annex certain territories within the corporate boundaries of the city of White House, Tennessee. First reading, I need a motion.
Move we approve.
Have a second.
Second.
Discussion. Do we need a plan of services to do this?
No, sir, because we're actually, we're gonna be able to get away with this because it's on a state route, US 31W. So, generally we would be having concerns with Robertson County, but being it's on the state route, there should not be a problem with us. So, no, there is no plan of services.
The only part we had actually annexed was in the city was the first 500 feet anyway, wasn't it?
That's correct. Well, it goes pretty deep, so, yeah. It might, yeah.
Was the whole property, was the whole?
It's not the whole piece, no.
It wasn't the whole piece.
No, it's just the front part of it. You're right. That's correct.
All right. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ordinance 2020, an ordinance to de-annex certain territories within the corporate boundaries of the city of White House, Tennessee. First reading. Need a motion.
We're approved.
Second.
Motion is second.
That's the twin sisters, so the twins are gonna live next to each other. So that's the plan.
That's so cute.
One will have a pool, the other one won't.
Oh, no, they'll both be there. They'll both be there. All right, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Now, fun stuff. To approve or reject authorizing the purchase of a 2020 Ford Explorer from statewide contract 209, in the amount of $28,780. Jerry recommends approval. Whose is this?
Well, it's for the city administrator to use while working. Derek, he did a great job for me, though. I said, go for it. You figure out what I need. So he did. I need a backup camera, so I don't back into anything. And since,
You're telling yourself, Mindy.
yeah, and so lane lights too, in case I cross somebody's lane, so.
So Elizabeth, does that mean you get the little car?
We
Okay.
hope to, yeah, that 12-year-old car. Yeah.
All right, I need a motion.
Move approved.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? To approve or reject authorizing the purchase of a 2020 Dodge Ram from statewide contract number 209 in the amount of $28,980. $89.35. C just recommends approval. I need a motion.
I move we approve.
Second.
Motion second. Is this your ride?
Can I say I saved, $67,000 on this?
Wow.
Sound like my wife, I spent 88, but I saved 6.
Yeah. Good math, isn't it?
You can't say if you don't buy, can you?
Building inspectors, thank you.
Well, they deserve it. Them boys working hard.
Yeah, they are.
It's getting crowded, that mobility truck.
Yeah. All in favor?
I love that little Ranger.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? To approve or reject, authorizing City Administrator Jerry Herman entering into a contract with CSR Engineering for $67,200 for engineering services for the soccer complex renovation project. Parks and Recreation Director recommends approval. Need a motion?
Approved.
I have two. One of those can be a second. I don't think this needs much discussion. We've been talking about this for years.
Yeah, it's on our capital plan, and so it's just so we get that sixth field put in for those folks that are looking forward to it, and lighting.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? To approve or reject, authorizing City Administrator Gerald Herman to enter into an agreement for the Community Event Center project. The City Administrator recommends approval. I need a motion.
Move we approve.
Have a second.
Second.
This was our bid opening for the new community center. Went very well. Oh,
You sent out the email.
did
Take a look at that.
the architectural firm go through and confirm?
Yes, sir, they did. That
So-
was my that was my concern. There's a letter in here from R.G. Anderson, which is a very reputable company. They built multiple projects in the Nashville area, including the large Franklin Police Department and some other projects just all around the area. And it says the R.G. Anderson Company Incorporated has reviewed our bid proposal for the White House Community Center and have confirmed it to be correct and valid. As you know, we did have some concerns when we seen that they were low, they jumped down there compared to what the other three were pretty close. I seen that. I didn't want to call you about that. But anyways, yeah.
Told you they were reputable.
I looked him up. He's not the same guy. Not there. Not the same guy. So, but anyways, that was a good price for us. It's gonna be, we're gonna be able to have a generator our current generator only, when we lose electricity, only powers up parts of our building, but this one will take care of the whole building. It gives us extra room for furniture, gives me some money to look at, the demolition project that we have to do on this building and possibly filling in a big hole underneath us. And making sure that gymnasium is stable and maybe do some renovations to the gymnasium on the outside. So, this is a really good bid, folks. I was in shock and, just beside myself, but they told me that there was a bid opening the week before on a school, about a $10 million project, and that one came $1.5 million under their projections.
Do you think I set the tone when they asked what the budget was? I said $2 million.
Yeah, you said that, didn't you, at that meeting? You said $2 million at the first pre-bid meeting, and I'm like,
Sometime before you start.
but we wouldn't tell them because, we left it quiet, and then the bids came in as they did, and we're just excited about it. So we'd like to get this underway as soon as we can. So.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? There's some board appointments. Are these voting board appointments or just something they need to look at?
Well, generally, you just let them look at the list, and then you generally have them vote. You don't always have to, like you said, but you prefer that. Then under other business, page 158. Yeah, page 158, 157 in your books.
One of them's here, actually.
Yeah.
I think everybody knows who Mike Wall is. Mike has been participating in our activities for quite some time, pretty much every time we're here. And I approached him about serving on a board. He has sent an application prior to that. But we had an opening come available, and he's the first person I went to. So, Mike, we appreciate your service, appreciate you participating. And I have Miss Amanda Smith, and I don't know Amanda, but I went through the proper channels for this. I went to Elizabeth, and, she went through the library board, I think. And I went through John, because John's our representative on the library board. See, I know how to go through the channel.
It's good.
And
Yeah,
everybody,
Mike, glad to have you, buddy.
and if nobody has any problems with that, I'll take a motion to approve these.
So moved.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So, are we gonna do this report?
Don't have to. That's just just for your information.
All right. Folks, y'all are adjourned.